Let's break up. After my girlfriend uttered these words, I felt as if I had been struck by the blow of the end of the world. I rubbed my eyes, only to be horrified to see zombies wandering outside the door. Damn it, it really seems that the end of the world has arrived. After my girlfriend said those words about breaking up, she resolutely turned around and left my home. In fact, it was quite reasonable. We had been in a long-distance relationship for a long time, and both our social circles and our plans for the future had undergone tremendous changes. Bang 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 bang. A series of rapid knocks on the door were accompanied by a woman's scream. Lin Yu, open the door quickly. There are zombies. When I opened the door, Fong Qing rushed in violently, almost making me stumble. She slammed the door shut with her backhand and then squatted down, gasping for breath. If you don't want to break up with me, don't be so heartless. It's okay to change your mind, I said with a playful smile as I looked at her. Change my mind? No way. If you don't believe me, go out and try it now and see how many minutes you can last. The security door made a strange sound, as if someone was scratching it. Upon hearing this sound, the angry expression on Fong Qing's face disappeared instantly, and all that was left in her eyes was panic. Could she be serious? I leaned in to look through the peephole, and what I saw gave me a huge fright. Standing at the door was a rather beautiful girl. If blood wasn't constantly dripping from her mouth, she would indeed be quite attractive. The girl was wearing a white dress. The blood spread from the collar to her stomach, and her arm was horribly mangled, obviously having been bitten. She was trying to scratch the door open with her hands, and a low growl was coming from her throat. Please don't do this, miss, I silently prayed in my heart. I picked up the stainless steel basin that I usually used for washing vegetables, placed a stool, and stood at the ventilation window. After throwing out the stainless steel basin, the clanging sound echoed throughout the corridor. The zombie girl suddenly turned her head and walked in the direction of the sound. There were several rips on the back of her dress, and I could clearly see several deep scratches on the back of her neck. The wound had already started to turn black and fester. The girl stopped at the elevator entrance and reached out to pick up the basin, but her hand retracted halfway. Then she started looking around. Seeing her bewildered appearance, I secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Just as I was about to get down from the stool, I heard the elevator ding. A burly man who was at least meters tall was blocked in the elevator by this girl in the white dress, and the girl immediately took a bite at him. A cry of pain rang out in the corridor. I jumped down from the stool and closed the window. When I sat on the sofa, I finally felt my heart pounding and my hands and feet turning cold. It was as if 100 suns had passed through my heart, bro. It had completely quieted down outside. Seriously? It's just the second floor. Why are you taking the elevator, bro? I have to admit that this unfortunate guy was harmed by me with my own hands. Fong Qing and I opened our phones, and all kinds of hot topics had already gone viral. Not just in one city or one country. Zombies of unknown origin had suddenly appeared. Messages in group chats and private chats were flooding the screen like crazy, and all the emergency hotlines and police hotlines were busy. I remember you don't usually stock up on supplies much, right? I do stock up. What did you stock up on? Masks. Before Fong Qing could throw her phone at me, I quickly rushed to the refrigerator and rummaged through to see how much food was left. There wasn't much. There were only 2 frozen fish, half a dozen eggs, 1 Chinese cabbage, and also some fruits, drinks, and seasoning sauce. The inventory of snacks was also pitifully small. I'm such a fool. My own refrigerator at home was stuffed full. Yet I came here and got trapped with you. I should have broken up with you long ago, but I just had to come at this time. Thank goodness. I rummaged through a pile of cardboard boxes and found 2 bags. The zongzi that the company gave out last month haven't been cooked yet, and there are also 2 boxes of instant noodles. 2 hours have elapsed since the global outbreak. Earlier, some screams, as well as the harsh sounds of car brakes and collisions, could still be heard now. Hardly anything can be heard. All the window curtains at home have been drawn, and power banks and mobile phones are all connected to the power strip. The dining table is filled with all the containers that could be found, and Fong Qing and I are filling these containers with water. Do you think it's possible that there's a problem with the water? Source: we've boiled this water twice. If there's still a problem after that, then humanity doesn't need to consider tomorrow. Although I said this, in fact, I had no confidence at all in my heart now. There are all kinds of rumors on the internet, and there is no unified statement from the authorities. An hour ago, a piece of news appeared on the trending search, saying that the patient 0 of the zombies escaped from a hospital, but soon this news disappeared. It was scolded off. Talking nonsense. Patient 0? Can one patient 0 spread throughout the city instantly? Do you know that this has occurred all over the country? If it weren't for the global outbreak, I might really believe it. What time is it now? Are you still spreading rumors to unlock the traffic code? I felt as if a huge stone was blocking my heart. Global outbreak? That means Now no one can be counted on. My parents sent me a message saying that they saw on their moments that a zombie virus had broken out outside. And now I must not go out. I heaved a sigh of relief. However, Fang Qing's situation was completely the opposite of mine. She hadn't received any news from her family. And she couldn't even send messages. Don't comfort me. Your parents are fine. You don't need to experience my anxiety. But they don't know that I'm okay. Fang Qing didn't speak. She pursed her lips. Her eyes were red. And she was persistently swiping through the messages. The phone lines were busy. The websites crashed before humanity collapsed. The major online platforms had already crashed first. In the morning, neither Fang Qing nor I felt sleepy. We chatted casually about food, movies, and work gossip. It wasn't that we really had so much to say. If we stopped, we would think about how helpless our current situation was. We were silent for a while, and the atmosphere became a bit solemn. Do you think zombies poop? Fang Qing ignored me. Sighed. Well, not funny. Fang Qing finally gave me a look. What I hate the most is your playful and joking look. It seems like you have nothing to worry about. No troubles. Can't you feel how anxious it is to survive at this time? Do you know how insecure this makes people feel? Since I met Fang Qing in college, she has been a very competitive woman. Thanks to her, with her urging me to study, usually, I don't have to worry about failing exams at the end of the semester. After graduating and entering the company, she worked her way up to the company's management. She had just returned from a business trip in another city. On the day she came to my house to break up, but some people just can't keep up with the competition. Like, main fact, breaking up is good for both of us. She can live a better life, and I don't have to live so tiredly. I just thought that maybe it would be good to become a zombie. No need to think. No need to be scared. It's a bit ugly. But no matter how one dies, one won't feel pain. You're not a zombie. How do you know that zombies have no consciousness and no pain? I laughed, thinking that Fang Qing was quite right. When I turned my head to look, Fang Qing had already fallen asleep. The internet has been down for hours. 3 days have passed, and no new news from the outside world can be received at all. This is not a good sign. I'll go out tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow. Go out? Are you crazy? Fang Qing grabbed my arm. There's a courier supermarket in the building next door. Our food can last at most 2 more days. We won't be able to wait for rescue like this. Do you really believe there will be a rescue? Surely there are more than just the 2 of us survivors now. It definitely takes time for the authorities to organize a rescue. If we don't have food, we'll just get weaker and weaker, and the chance of survival will be even lower. Don't I know this truth? But if you go out now, you're completely a sitting duck. Fang Qing pulled open the curtain. Zombies could be seen wandering around everywhere outside whenever we looked out. They were always like this, as if they never got tired. Bang. A black shadow quickly flashed past our window, and then landed on the ground with a dull thud. Fang Qing subconsciously covered her mouth, and her whole body was shaking. She put down the curtain and turned around to run away. Then the sound of retching came from the bathroom. Another person had jumped off the building. In these few days, there had been quite a few people doing this. Some even rushed out with kitchen knives. Without exception, they all became easy prey for the zombie hordes. I pulled the curtain closed again. From the outbreak of the zombies until now, I had saved quite a few photos on my phone. After looking through these photos repeatedly, I finally confirmed that these zombies indeed seemed to be a bit different from before. They were thinner. The zombies in the front didn't show such severe decay, and their mobility was no different from that of ordinary people, while the zombies at the back, those that ran more slowly, showed very obvious signs of decay, emaciation, and sluggish movement. That is to say, they must feed on people to maintain their vitality. If they don't eat for a long time, perhaps they will die. If this is really the case, then the only way now is to see who can hold out longer. It's just, so far, I haven't seen any zombie fall down after coming out of the bathroom. Fang Qing's face was alternately red and white. She hesitated for a while, and then the words in her heart poured out. Some people may not have supplies. Some people may be staying alone in a room and have no one to talk to. There are so many people who may be suffering, and maybe even my family members are among them. Many people can't hold on anymore. Yet I'm here with food and drink, and someone to talk to. I can actually feel a bit of happiness. Isn't this too outrageous? Oh, almost forgot. You won't think so. You always think that other people's experiences and encounters have nothing to do with you. You always have so many grand theories. I handed a glass of water to Fang Qing and thought of a dispute we once had because of one thing. Fang Qing always liked to use others to motivate herself. Why couldn't she even get the first place in the exam when others could start a successful business at the age of 20? Others worked hard and endured hardships in the countryside. She was studying in college. Well, what was there to complain about? What reason did she have not to work hard? This method was very effective for her, and she was indeed more outstanding than most people I knew. But this concept meant nothing to me. Others are others. They can't be the whip to motivate me, nor the nourishment for my growth. This isn't some grand theory. I just don't want to worry about things that I shouldn't worry about. For example, now, whether other people have supplies or not has nothing to do with us, right? Maybe it's a bit cold-hearted, but we can't take care of others. Every day we survive is a day we earn. I told Fang Qing my guess just now. She remained silent all the time, and I didn't continue. I swiped through one photo after another in my hand. Don't go out. Fang Qing's voice was very soft, but loud enough for me to hear clearly. I looked up at her. If we don't go out and there's no food left in the end, do you think you'll eat me or I'll eat you? I saw Fong Qing stand up subconsciously. I covered my head although she seemed very gentle. She could hit quite hard. Fong Qing tightly grasped my Kaleri, felt her lean on my shoulder. Please. I beg you, don't go out. I felt that my shoulder was wet. I quickly patted her back. Okay, I won't go out. But Fong Qing didn't trust me at all when she slept. She also held my sleeve with one hand. As soon as I made a move, she would wake up presumably. She had been really tense during this period. She didn't used to be such a light sleeper. Don't think about going out while I'm asleep. At worst, we'll just die here together. Overnight, the city successfully got the internet connection back. The TV is reporting on the situation of this zombie virus. An unknown virus has broken out in more than countries and regions around the world. Governments of various countries are actively carrying out rescue work. Please stay at home. Do not go out, keep in touch, and wait for rescue. The words, "Please turn the TV to mute," appear prominently at the top of the trending search, are news that safe zones are being built in various provinces and rescue work is being actively carried out. 4 days have passed, and this is all we've waited for? Might as well just tell us to wait to die at home. Everyone, don't panic. Believe that the country won't give up on us. You're not panicking because you have supplies at home, right? It's easy for you to talk. There won't be any rescue at all. Then what else can we do? Are you going to go out and fight the zombies hand to hand? We want the truth. This is a human experiment. They all doing experiments. No one will care about us. Stop spreading rumors. I sent it chaotic enough. Why can't the help-seeking posts be topped? Some help-seeking topics can always stay at the top of the trending search. Are ordinary people's lives, not lives. I've read a lot of help-seeking messages. I am in a very heavy mood, but God help those who help themselves. Now everyone is in danger. Who can take care of whom? I switched from one entry to another. Volunteer teams are actively organizing rescue. The truth about zombies besieging humans. How to save your life when encountering zombies. Help. Trapped at home with shortage of supplies. The zombie virus has been effectively controlled. The end of the world is coming. No matter what the topic is, it will eventually turn into a meaningless quarrel. Rumors are flying everywhere, and even many help-seeking messages have been drowned out. Less than half a day later, Weibo crashed again. After refreshing several times, I realized that it wasn't a crash. It was that no messages or comments were allowed to be posted. Only several official messages were always hanging there. The world became quiet. The group chat that had been silent for 3 days could finally become active again. Fong Qing finally received a message from her parents and felt relieved. The old couple didn't go out that night, and they had stocked up a lot of supplies. When the community was sealed off earlier for the time being, the situation was okay. My parents, residing in the county town's hometown, sent a message stating that there were no so-called zombies as wildly rumored online. I repeatedly exhorted them not to go out, yet my parents thought me overly nagging. Do you think your parents are so foolish as to go out at this moment? I didn't even forward the video your aunt sent. There were people beaten to death in several supermarkets while scrambling for supplies. Although we haven't seen a single monster, the situation is scarcely different whether there are any or not. As reported on TV, the zombie virus was mainly concentrated in various large and small cities, with most rural areas, counties, and villages remaining uninfected. Upon hearing this news, my heart sank. However ferocious and malicious the zombies might be, they merely act on instinct. But humans possess intelligence, and once they lose their humanity, they can be incalculably more savage. Don't worry about us. Hasten to save the zombie avoidance manual I sent you if you can't even weather this crisis. Don't claim to be my son when you go out. I couldn't help but laugh and cry simultaneously as I read my parents' message. That zombie avoidance manual was actually a picture. Several large characters were strikingly prominent, occupying half of the space. No screaming, no running, mask your scent. This picture had already spread throughout all group chats. It was indeed official news, as it was also being scrolled on TV. The other half of the picture elaborated on some details in the initial stage of zombie infection. Their appearance and mobility bear little difference from those of ordinary people. Their hearing, vision, and sense of smell have all degenerated to varying extents, and they lack intelligence in the middle stage of zombie infection. If they do not consume food to maintain their mobility, their various functions will gradually deteriorate. Currently, there is no research to prove the situation in the late stage of zombie infection. Caution: do not confront zombies rashly. Degenerating zombies can also be roused to wildness and attack people violently. Zombies are relatively sensitive to sharp sounds, fast-moving objects, and the smell of fresh blood and flesh. Please stay calm and refrain from screaming or running if possible. Prepare items with a strong odor to deceive zombies, including but not limited to perfume, essential balm, toilet water, onions, or shower gel. There is a certain probability of not being recognized by zombies, yet this cannot be guaranteed in close-range situations. Please, survivors, remain indoors and do not go out. Await rescue. No one knows how long this rescue will take, hence I must venture out. We ran out of food yesterday. If we wait for another 2 days, whether I encounter zombies or humans vying for supplies, I will be at an even greater disadvantage. According to my plan, I intended to go out on the day I received the manual. However, I am by no means a hero. Additionally, Fong Qing held me back, forbidding me to go out, so I procrastinated for these several days. As a result, during these days, I witnessed quite a few People going out and getting killed, just the thought of it now still sends a shiver down my spine. Some couldn't resist running upon encountering zombies, some engaged in fights over supplies, thereby attracting zombies. Some took the supplies of the two people fighting, while the zombies were inattentive. The number of people going out has decreased significantly these days with the previous experience. Everyone has become more cautious for these 2 days. We haven't used shower gel or shampoo, and we've saved all the laundry detergent. If there are no supplies left in the courier supermarket, I will have to cross the road and go to the large supermarket meters away to seize supplies now. I'm somewhat glad that I get bitten all over by mosquitoes every summer. So there are 2 bottles of essential balm and toilet water. At home, Fang Qing took out the perfume from her bag and said hesitantly, "Perhaps we should give up. Let's wait a bit longer." I gently removed her hand from my arm and said, "It's fine, I won't lose by going out. Either I'll return safely or turn into a zombie, in which case I won't have to think about anything at all. I secretly saved a zongzi for you if I don't come back. Don't go out, try to wait for the rescue. I hope you can tell me later what the safe zone is like, and how humans deal with zombies." The days we've spent together during this period are already a gain. After Fang Qing got promoted, we became long distance to meet. We could only rush to each other's city. Even our friends on both sides were quite puzzled. Why haven't you broken up yet? Friends have been saying since college that there are no couples who don't quarrel. Your relationship seems fake. I'm also perplexed. Is it true that a relationship isn't considered love if there are no quarrels and break-ups? But when Fang Qing hugged my neck and sighed more and more frequently, I knew that the breakup was actually approaching. No matter how good the relationship is, in the face of the future, it becomes something worthless. Fate is extremely absurd. One moment, we were still persisting and moving towards our respective futures, refusing to compromise. The next moment, this future turned into a joke. After setting an anti-flag for myself, I smeared half a bottle of toilet water on my body and clothes. Fang Qing was so choked that she kept sneezing. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It is said that zombies are a bit slower in extremely hot or extremely cold conditions, so I chose to go out when it was sweltering outside. I put on a mask, took an umbrella and a big kitchen knife, stuffed a mountaineering bag and 2 eco-friendly bags, and went out. There are several households on each floor of this building. From the outbreak of the zombies until now, I haven't heard any noise. I don't know if they are not at home, haven't returned, or are no longer alive. If there are no accidents, that zombie girl in the white dress and the zombie Zhonghun should be trapped in the elevator. If there are accidents, they might appear on any floor, most likely on the first floor. I opened the umbrella handle and walked forward quietly. I smoothly walked out of the unit door. There are zombies wandering around outside the unit door. I noticed that there don't seem to be any of my kind outside, so I mimicked the gait of a zombie and tried to blend in. As a result, I actually managed to reach the supermarket entrance before I could feel elated. I saw the supermarket owner standing next to the cash register, so dedicated. He still hasn't forgotten his business. Even now his eyes were vacant. The bones of his chin and neck were visible. All the exposed teeth were covered with black and red blood. I moved inside step by step. The zombie-like owner turned his head and looked at me. Immediately felt a sense of unease. A thin layer of sweat broke out on my body. Would I be exposed? The owner turned his head away again and continued to look at his cash register. I moved through 2 rows of shelves and reached the back door, just in time to face a brother holding a knife. According to my observation, he was a human. Locked the door. I took 2 slow steps back, gesturing to him and mouthing the words simultaneously. The young fellow gently locked the door. Half of the items in the supermarket were already gone. Some of the remaining items were on the shelves, while some were scattered all over the place. Dong 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 dong. Who's knocking on the door? With a bang, the zombie-like owner crashed into the small glass window on the adjacent door panel. I actually thought that the owner, even after becoming a zombie, was reluctant to leave the cash register. It turned out that there were people in the room next to the cash register. 2 people, the owner's wife and daughter. It was they who had been knocking gently just now. Not rescuing them was the best solution I could think of. Otherwise, what could I do? Charge at them with the kitchen knife? Add 1 more zombie to their doorstep? Or create noise to draw the owner away and attract a horde of zombies? Even if I managed to kill the owner successfully, would I be a benefactor or an enemy? What would become of the 2 of them? I exchanged a glance with the other brother and continued to silently fill our bags with supplies. 10 minutes later, the 2 of us retreated to the entrances where we had come. Aini held a can of soda in my hand. The young fellow had given it to me when I was taking the biscuits, and I immediately understood what he meant. We opened the doors and simultaneously threw the cans in our hands into the room on the left, then slowly fled the scene. The owner walked towards the room with the tissue shelves. What happened next was no longer within my consideration now. What troubles me is the unit door. The zombie girl and the zombie Donghain were actually still here. Where did they come from? Why didn't I encounter them earlier? Now, to enter the unit door, I almost have to pass right by them. A colorful plate flew out and smashed on the ground. It was a plate from my home, with a rose pattern that Fang Qing had bought. What a great teammate. I finally returned home unscathed. As soon as I opened the door, I saw Fang Qing pointing a fruit knife at me. Are you hurt? Come and check. 1 for damage, 10 for compensation. I grinned, threw the 2 big bags on the ground, and spread my arms. Fang Qing looked me up and down several times, then dropped the knife and rushed into my arms. There's already a safe zone. Reported on TV. Rescue is underway. Fong Qing was sobbing. I took out the items from the shopping bags besides 3 bottles of toilet water. The items inside were either bread or biscuits. In addition, there were only 2 long-handled umbrellas. They were originally intended to be used as shields, or might have been quite handy as weapons. But it turned out they weren't needed. Where is this safe zone you just mentioned? At the railway station. The zombie virus in the military was the first to be brought under control. Firstly, because there were relatively few infected people. Secondly, after all, humans can use weapons while zombies cannot. After they took control of the armory, the second thing they did was to establish safe zones at transportation hubs, such as railway stations and airports. Fong Qing saw a report stating that the rescue team in the safe zone had successfully rescued a trapped hospital, saving over 50 medical staff and patients. Although the proportion of survivors was extremely small, this news really lifted people's spirits. Hold on. Wait for the rescue team. This officially pinned top trending search news. I believe many people, like me now, are repeatedly playing it on their phones. And then there were people who went out and got killed again. Fighting zombies in the underground garage. There is no safe zone at North City Railway Station. Being surrounded by zombies when driving to the airport. Big and small social networking sites. In short, video platforms have set off one storm after another, but such things can't stop as long as there are people without supplies or people in panic. They will rush towards the safe zone at all costs. The worst off is still that rescue team. This is the second community to be rescued in the news report. Just as a vehicle was fully loaded, a big brother rushed out from the back of the line. He took 2 or 3 steps to the driver's seat and tried to grab the driver's steering wheel. When the crowd started to fight, the situation got out of control, and some people even rushed to the rescue workers to fight for guns. It is said that none of the people at the entrance of this community survived. There was a flood of scolding on the internet after this accident. All rescues were suspended. We may have to go to the safe zone by ourselves. Fong Qing looked at me with confusion in her eyes. There probably won't be any more rescues in the community for a long time. This little bit of stuff we have won't last long. Moreover, there aren't many supplies left in the community supermarket now. If we have to take the risk to get supplies from the large supermarket, it's better to go directly to the safe zone. Even if we wait for the rescue, it's really too dangerous to be in the crowd. Fong Qing also began to carefully consider my proposal. Do you know which way the door of the safe zone opens? Will they open the door for you when you get to the safe zone? We don't have a car. How do we get there? At this time, where the safe zone is located is no longer a secret. The nearest safe zone to us is at the East City Railway Station. Have taken the high-speed rail there many times, and am quite familiar with the layout inside. I planned a route starting from home and going to the East City Railway Station. It would take at least 4 or 5 hours to get there using the zombie walking method. Fong Qing snatched my mountaineering bag and stopped me from packing things further. Fong Qing, you have to come with me this time. In the past, we chose to give up because it was good for both of us, but this time, we can only endure this pressure. What if one of us has an accident on the way? The other one doesn't look back and just keeps going. At 10:30 in the morning, the sun was a bit strong today. There were cars parked haphazardly on the street, and hardly any of them were without blood. The most exaggerated was the armored vehicle. The rear door had been removed, and 100-yuan bills were scattered all over the ground. The side door was still relatively intact, but it was full of bullet holes and bloodstains. I highly doubt that this was not entirely due to the zombies, but I can't figure it out either. How could there still be people in the mood to rob an armored vehicle when the zombies broke out? In order to reach the safe zone in the shortest time, I chose this road, which was all major roads. There were quite a few cars that were intact and still had their keys in them. I looked at Fong Qing, tightened my grip on her hand, and continued to move forward at a snail's pace. 3 hours passed, and I estimated that we had walked about half of the way. I heard the sound of a car approaching from afar. Soon, a white car whizzed by from the non-motor vehicle lane on the left and even knocked down a zombie coming towards it. The nearby zombies all ran after the white car. However, we still didn't dare to run. More and more zombies surrounded us. The car was quickly crashed and stopped after a sound of the engine. The white car restarted and disappeared from our sight. Taking advantage of this commotion, we applied half a bottle more of perfume on ourselves when we finally saw the sign of the railway station. It was already 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The railway station was surrounded by a tall fence, and barbed wire with sharp blades was wrapped around the fence. There was only one checkpoint for people and vehicles to pass through, but now this checkpoint was blocked. A large fan-shaped area starting from the checkpoint was densely filled with cars. Soon as we got close to the railway station, I smelled a strange smell, which was even more unpleasant than the mixed smell of toilet water, perfume, and essential balm on Fong Qing, and May saw that white car. It was parked on the outermost periphery of the car group, hitting the rear of a red car. There were at least a dozen zombies around that white car, and blood was flowing all over the ground. Indeed, zombies can't run as fast as cars, but cars always have to stop, and people always have to get out of the cars at this time. They will face even more zombie hordes. The patrollers at the checkpoint had already seen us. I could see their pitch black gun muzzles. Fong Qing and I slowly raised our hands. Detection area. There were quite a few people in isolation here like us every day. Some people walked to the safe zone by themselves like us. It was the same yesterday, but when we saw each other on the way, no one talked, and we kept as far away as possible. I have an unreal feeling now. Maybe it was the sun yesterday that made me dizzy. The hall of the railway station was very empty, with a sense of emptiness after a narrow escape from death. Some people were chatting, and some were crying. You have put in all your efforts and luck to survive, so you should live well instead of blindly giving up everything you can't get. A gentle-looking young man with glasses squatting next to us persuaded. Is he a psychiatrist? Seems to be the captain of the supply team. After the isolation ended, Fong Qing and I also joined the rescue team when the captain of the second team came to recruit us. The two of us agreed almost without thinking. Staying here was already anxious enough. At least now we could do something in this disaster. However, the local rescue team is only operating locally for the time being. Only after the situation in this city has completely stabilized will we have the ability to support other cities. Understood. Don't worry too much, there are corresponding rescue teams in other regions as well. The second team captain patted me on the shoulder and went to assign tasks to the members of other teams. We all knew very well that not all cities were as lucky as ours. In some cities, the virus broke out in the city center, and until now, no one has refuted the news of the total annihilation in some other cities. The city center was abandoned. Our city has currently recaptured 6 save points from the zombies. Each stronghold is basically equipped with a rescue team, a supply team, and a medical team. There will be a rescue mission tomorrow. Target City Museum. The night before departure, Fong Qing and I reached an agreement. If we can come back safely this time, then we will participate in the next rescue. If we can come back safely next time, then we will recapture the city. And after successfully recapturing the city, we will go to our parents' cities to save people respectively, and then take you to meet my parents. The end.